Krishna. Karuna Bhavan. Yeah, I've spent a few years there, living there and visiting, and living in a house in the Krishna community in Lesmahago, Scotland. Yeah, a lot of good times. Yeah, a lot of very positive, good times there. A lot of nice people pass through, and a lot of singing and dancing, great feasts, good laugh. I did a podcast and it was kind of like, it was a certain side of things. I had a great time there. I had a fantastic time singing and dancing and feasting and distributing books and collecting money and working the land. I mean, what is a better life than that? A few people were having a go at me though. I don't know why, my work was good, I was bringing in the money, and it was like, oh, you did something wrong, you said something wrong in 10 years. We live in intensive care and isolation in this community. You can't do anything wrong, you're supposed to be on the level of Rupa Goswami. Ridiculous stuff like that, It's like all this, like Rupa Goswami mood, it's like, if you do the slightest thing wrong or say the slightest thing wrong, it's a big catastrophe. It's just people trying to control. They're like, okay, people have got to follow the Rupa Goswami, but I haven't, it's like, it's like point out how everybody else isn't following properly, when, I'll mention his name, Balabhadra used to say it's self-realization, not other people realization. People, when they take up spiritual life, they tend to look at everybody else to see what's wrong with them and criticize them rather than look at themselves. Because if you really look at yourself, you'll find love. We're all made of love deep down. You'll find, your nature is to serve and to love. You haven't actually got a problem. People might tell you you've got a problem, but you haven't actually got it. Heaven belongs to God. All you've got is service. So that's basic, fundamental, understanding of Krishna consciousness, spiritual life. But you find everyone at the temple isn't so into, everyone that lives in the Krishna community or even lives in the temple isn't so into Krishna consciousness. Some of them are into it for material reasons and some are more into Krishna consciousness than others. So it can be a bit chaotic at times. If you're very enthusiastic and up early and doing the service and distributing books and making lots of money, it's like people might not be so inclined to assist you so much. It's a wee bit like every man for himself, It's like, I want a position, I want to be seen as a big shot. That all goes on with young men and women. And we're getting older now, so, that mood should be gone, but, it hasn't with some people. I mean, they did a management review and the most important thing was who's getting a position of authority. It's like, I'm not really that interested. I'm having lots of fun out in working the land with volunteers and distributing books on the street and collecting money. Why would I want to sit in a meeting where, they're even discussing things like, is eating chocolate bona fide in the Hare Krishna movement? I think there's a lot more serious things to talk about. I mean, I got up early in the morning, okay, I'm talking about myself, but I'm talking about my real self, my spiritual self, right? Because, I got up early in the morning, why do I get up? Why do I chant Hare Krishna? To do something for the world. Not because, I enjoy it too, yeah, because, it's spiritual, but I want to do that for the world, not so I look great and I'm famous and I get a position of authority in the Hare Krishna movement, It's like, it's really that, you know, we're no on news at 10 getting interviewed. What do we think of the situation, you know? We're not, you know, that big time, you know. The only big time thing about the Hare Krishna movement is the love. It's like, you know, okay, got nice properties, but there's not that many people in the properties that really want to go at times, because it's that there's more emphasis on property and possession and management than there is care for people and love for people. It's like a strange situation, you know. But what can I do? All I can do is try and set an example as best I can. You know, I'm an insignificant soul, and I'm not going to be able to set the perfect example. All I can do is try and follow, like Bhagavad Gita as it is, the spiritual masters and ISKCON just now, Prabhupada. You know, I'm trying my best to follow. And, you know, trying to be honest and straightforward. So it's like, you know, people seem to think they know better. The whole thing about spiritual life is just to follow. One is a leader if one follows, but people want to be leaders without following. They think, I know better. I know better than the gurus in ISKCON. I know better than Prabhupada. You know, Prabhupada spent all his time, like, you know, like trying to make things, you know, practical for the West. Like, you know, men and women in temples, women get qualifications that they didn't get in India. Prabhupada spent his whole time, you know, telling us this is how to practice. Don't do what they, you know, the way they live in India, you know, like even 200 years ago or now. It's like, don't do it here, you live in a certain way. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. But some devotees, they just think they know better than Prabhupada. No women in the temple, you know, it's like totally ridiculous. And you try and tell them and they're like, you're mentally ill. And it's like, you know, really? It's like, you know, just unbelievable. I mean, I'll be absolutely honest and say I'm going to get, I don't know what I'm going to get for this, maybe applauded, but I mean, from what I've seen over a year and a half, ISKCON is pretty corrupt. Blatant corruption. Devotees just doing what they like. Doing what they like. And if anybody tries to do anything about it, they're like just totally on the defence and, you know, find some reason and delay things and, you know, it's just like out and out blatant corruption. And to be honest, I've been thinking that comes from the Indian influence. It's like, you know, Indians are like, you know, it's a known country for blatant corruption. Because some of the things that, you know, the management put forward, it's just like, you just, you know, stop trying to, you know, treat me like an idiot. Stop taking me for a fool. It's like putting that forward to me. That somebody, you know, should, you know, somebody who's abused their position of power should review their own abuse. It's like, what? You expect me to accept that? I'm glad you changed it. But they were expecting us to accept it. They were like, okay, we want some feedback for that. Okay, you're getting feedback. It's like, sorry, I'm not bowing down to you and saying, you know, that's the word of God. I should follow my leaders. Thanks very much for, you know, it's like totally unbelievable. But anyway, there was lots of good times, you know, in ISKCON, and like a lot of the volunteers I worked to land with were very, very nice, you know. A lot of nice young women, a lot of nice young men, and a lot of nice people from France. I got a very good impression of France. We work in the land with volunteers from Karuna Bhavan. And the book distribution, I mean, some of the best days of my life were spent on the street distributing books. I mean, I didn't really like the temple program. Like in the morning, it was, you know, after the prasadam the night before, you know, it was like, You know, could have we, like, you know, stay awake in the morning, you know, the next morning, you know, the prasadam was that good. You couldn't help eating it, you know, loads of it, you know. And then you take it up at 4 in the morning and do like meditation in the morning. It was like practically impossible, you know. The food was so good, it was impossible to like stay awake in the next morning program after the feast the day before. But, you know, it was all a laugh, all a lot of a laugh, and, you know, it's like, I think devotees should have a bit of a laugh and lighten things up and, you know, stop treating, you know, people like idiots, you know. It's like, okay, I've got a position of authority, I can treat people like idiots and they may take it as the word of God. I mean, stop trying to get away with that. It's like, you know, you're not going to get many people to join the Hare Krishna movement that way, you know. It's like, not that many people join anyway. I mean, when I was young, it was like, everybody was around 20 and that was joining, but now it's like, you know, you don't get the temples full of young people now for some odd reason. Maybe we're preaching too much principles. Because one Swami said we shouldn't present Krishna consciousness as rules and regulations. We should present it as a sublime philosophy. In other words, it's all about love. You know, it's love one another, love the animals, love the plants, love God, see each other as souls. I mean, to be honest, at Karuna Bhavan, I mean, the emphasis on like men, women, the men trying to get big collections to impress the women. And when I was in the garden and there was women volunteers, it was like, you can't preach to the women, I'll preach to them, you know. It was like, totally ridiculous, you know. One guy said that too, it's like, you can't preach to women, I'll preach to them. Now he's in court. Some women's got him in court, you know. It's like, so much, you know, for his attempt to preach to the women, you know. It was that, I mean, you must be expecting trouble if you say that to another guy, you know. I can't stop laughing at it all, to be honest. It's like, get out of the way, you can't preach to women, I preach to them, you haven't got a clue about women. It's like, it's supposed to be spiritual. I mean, have a laugh, stop taking everything so seriously. Stop seeing, you know, people as men and women, see them as souls in women's bodies and men's and souls in men's bodies, you know. Yeah, a lot of money made at Karuna Bhavan, property bought, all the rest of it. But, you know, there's motivation to get positions of power, and some of the moves made aren't very spiritual. It's like, you know, put somebody else out the game to, you know, get their position and all that. And, you know, I mean, sometimes, if the public actually knew what was going on in ISKCON, I mean, I don't know what the situation would be. Would there be, you know, would there be a police investigation, a government inquiry? Because, I mean, okay, it's a spiritual life, be happy, chant, dance and feast, but some of the low moves that go on, and some of the abuse that goes on, it's like, well, somebody has to do something. So that's why I'm making this video. I'll speak out, you know. It's like, you know, let's be honest, straightforward, you know. So we've got to sort out the corruption, and to do that it's very simple. We just follow. Simple. Do your best to follow. Don't try and follow Rupa Goswami. You know, do your best. Who cares if somebody has a pint of beer or a cigarette? But in ISKCON, if you have a pint of beer and a cigarette and the wrong person finds out about it, that would be you ostracised, shunned, no given class for the next 10 years. You're not fit to talk about Krishna consciousness. These days they're calling the Sunday program the Shunday program. I thought that one was funny, the Shunday program. Because some devotees are shunning others, you know, that they don't want around. Certain devotees are acting like they're the proprietors of the property, and they don't want others around that tell them, you know, the proprietor, mate, you know. Other people live here and they've got a say in it. You're acting like a cult member. They don't want criticism like that. They can't take it. They're not, they're not high enough to be able to take constructive criticism on board. So they won't get very far because they think they're doing right and everybody can see they're not. It's like everybody can see they're going wrong and where they're going wrong, but they won't listen to MD. That's why there's very few people at the temple. So, a spiritual life at Karuna Bhavan, yeah, great times, great fun. Where does it go wrong? I mean, the whole Balabhadra situation is very sad. Balabhadra was a spiritual master, ISKCON Scotland. When he joined, he was a very respectable man, married 2 good children, a guru of ISKCON, lots of good disciples, making lots of money, distributing lots of books. What went wrong? A lot of people did have a go at him. He was doing something in Scotland that nobody else in ISKCON had ever done before. And to be honest, they couldn't really have him, being a big shot because he was very straightforward and honest. He didn't go along with all the pretense. Scottish people are very down to earth, straightforward, and it's a bit much for the management in London. They don't want straightforward and honesty. They want to look refined, high class to attract Indians. And then when the Indians come, they just, they don't think, some of them don't think so much of the Western devotees, and they just, put things forward like we're some kind of idiots or something. And it's like, stop your corruption. It's just like, go on with following and enjoy yourselves, Stop putting people down and make yourselves look good, It's, I feel they do that, with the child protection, to be honest, Not so much in Scotland, but in other places. But even if you mention child protection in Scotland, it's like, how dare you mention that? That won't happen here. That couldn't happen here. No one here would do that. I mean, they must be stupid if they think that. Must be living in some cuckoo world somewhere. Nobody's going to abuse children. It's commonplace in the world, It's like, in a spiritual community, nobody's going to do that. Of course, if you're not careful, somebody's going to do that, or there's a group going to do it, of course. But if you mention, let's be careful about it. It's like, how dare you, insinuate that could happen here, I say, yeah, well, if we're not careful, lucky we haven't had a scandal with child abuse and all that, probably because there's not been that many children around, because, I mean, to be honest, a lot of devotees were enjoying themselves on the street and enjoying life as single men and single women. So I don't think a lot of devotees were so concerned about getting married or wanted to get married so much. I know when I was living in Karuna Bhavan, 1993, and I was doing very well, making lots of money, distributing lots of books, and I remember a spiritual master then asked me if, I wanted to get married. He was going to arrange a marriage for me to a woman, and I was like, I just answered him no. And to be honest, my answer took him aback. He was shocked at my answer. Because I gave it a quick no, very quick no, because I wasn't interested. And he was shocked. He was like, nobody'd marry you anyway, he said, So, yeah. But yeah, the volunteer program, I mean, it was very good with volunteers. Me and the volunteers got on like a house on fire. We did a lot of good work. A lot of us are still friends with each other. And, the management, yeah, I wasn't kind of relating. I wasn't associating much with the devotees. I was associating more with the volunteers. And so me and the devotees were a bit we weren't relating to each other properly. I mean, something wrong on the gardening program, the devotees would make a big deal of it, like it was, the end of the world. And I was like, well, we'll work it out, we'll work through it, we'll sort it out. The carrots are still growing, it's like, don't worry, So it was like that, because I notice in me in the garden, it's like, not much bothers me, nothing's really a big problem. But to devotees that are not out in the garden, they're like, she or he says that, there's something wrong. It's like, let's have a big inquiry into this. Let's investigate this, It's like, they've got a complaint, It's like, I will tell their father to come and I'll sit down and talk to them about it, It's like, I couldn't believe it, some of the stuff, Yeah, the book distribution was fantastic as well, and Karuna Bhavan started one house, and, a lot of devotees put a lot of work into it. I mean, including Prabhupada Prana and the Hoxaja. I mean, they're not acting like my best friends right now, but they did put a lot of work in, and so did I. So I'm asking, like, why are they not acting like friends towards me, What is it? They've got some kind of misunderstanding, about me, that I'm their enemy or something, I appreciate what they've done for me. Appreciate what they've done for others as well. Why don't they love themselves and enjoy themselves and stop looking at me and, seeing what's wrong with me, Don't worry, it's like, I know I'm like, the lowest of the low, and like, an insignificant, fool, who just tries to follow. I don't need anybody to put me down. Or, it's tough enough living with myself and my own mind, It's like, I don't need anybody else to, stab me in the back or kick me in the teeth when I'm down, It's like, I mean, give us a break, Let's work together. Let's be happy. There's not really a problem, We've got good property. We've got land. We've got, there's plenty of people in Scotland who'll come to the temple if devotees work together. It's like, let's be positive. Let's be happy. Let's be enthusiastic. Sorry to brag, but I'm 63 years old. I was up at 3 o'clock this morning. I've been on the go ever since. It's now like, 2:30 in the afternoon. I'm not tired. I haven't had a break since 3 o'clock this morning. That's 'cause I do yoga. That's 'cause I'm eternally youthful. I'm living as a soul, not a body or a mind. So, there's a big misunderstanding about me at Karuna Bhavan. And, I've nothing against anybody there. I try and, assist the devotees to serve. What's the problem? Why make a problem out of something that, doesn't exist, or blow it completely out of proportion? Devotees need to be positive, enthusiastic, not like concentrating on problems and feeling threatened by always looking over their shoulder to see if, there's a threat, and, keeping the shutters up, and, it's like, all day long, just defending. I mean, it's like, the temple president, Prabhupada Prana, lots of people would assist him and help him, but he doesn't seem to want to help. He seems to want to look like he's doing it all himself. A lot of people would help him, assist him, just, be open to that, It's that he feels everything's a threat and everybody's a threat, and, if he's not keeping his eye on them, I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but that's the situation. It's like, I don't even know whether I want to go up there right now. It's like, will I be received properly, or will I be harassed to leave, It's like, they come out with this rubbish, I should see a doctor. They got a letter from the top psychologist in Scotland saying it was fine. And I went back up after that, and I still get harassed. It's like, come on. It's like, and then I get invited up. And then when certain devotees come, I go up, It's like, it's just a joke. It's like, what's going on? It's like, People are just doing what they want. No one's following any kind of structure or code of ethics. People are just doing what they want and not giving any explanations for it. So somebody comes and gives £1 million and we just tell them to go away and like spend their money on ourselves, and they have to go to court to get it back, and it's who wants all that, let's be honest, straightforward, have a good time, enjoy yourselves, sing and dance together. And the history of Karuna Bhavan is very glorious. A lot of great souls have served at Karuna Bhavan. Ramananda, Prabhupada Vani, Prabhupada Charan, Gadruma Bihari, some of the ladies, Palendri Devi, Jagannath Priya, Prabhupada Priya, and some of those souls some souls that were here have departed, and I really feel for them. They really did something for the world. Karuna Bhavan means a house of mercy. There was a lot of nice young men and women here giving their heart and soul to improve the situation in the world, to help the suffering people of the world. A lot of nice, young men and women. So it's like, I pray for them. I've got time for them. They've helped to establish Karuna Bhavan. If we use the property properly, then they'll benefit. They may have left their bodies and they may be in another body on this planet, but their souls will benefit. Them as souls will benefit if we use the property at Karuna Bhavan properly, and all that takes is devotees to work together. There's a lot of nice souls here at Karuna Bhavan and in Scotland, and I can see that most will work together. And Prabhupada Prana seems to be, improving his attitude towards me, at least me, even if other people don't think he is. So it's like, let's have confidence in each other, let's trust each other, have faith in each other, let's, go for it, let's take a chance. Not sit in a temple and comfort, afraid that, if we go out, we'll break a principle, we'll have a beer one day maybe, and that'll be the end of our lives. End their spiritual lives. Give 40 years service, to Karuna Bhavan, have a beer one day, and that's you finished. I can't help laughing. I mean, it is a joke. It's like, all you need to do is see Krishna as a tasting beer. You get just as high as you get at the temple, to be honest, if you really, if your beer tastes good enough, Yeah, some of that zero Guinness does taste quite good, so there's not a problem there. Just add Krishna to your life, not be a fanatic about principles and, yeah, it's like, there's a lot of nice properties here as well. Unfortunately, we don't rent the properties we don't rent all the properties to devotees. In his great wisdom, Pragosh Ji, Hare Krishna, my friend, advised the temple president here not to rent the properties to devotees, because devotees didn't agree with the management, therefore they wouldn't pay rent. Therefore, Pragosh, and his great wisdom says, well, don't rent to devotees. Rent to materialistic people. That'll keep the temple finance. So, property comes before people, and caring about people. Just keep a temple going. The Indians will come on a Sunday. What's the problem? They won't inquire if there's anything wrong. They'll just want to socialise with other families. So, yeah, more people should speak out about abuse of power. More people should speak out and inquire why are there not many people at the temple. Why are the grounds not looking good? Because, I haven't been there because I've been stopped. I had the grounds looking great. I had loads of fruit and veg growing, flowers growing everywhere. Place looked great. Got in magazines and everything for the garden. And, I was stopped. It wasn't good enough for them. All my service, all my looking after volunteers, all my articles in magazines for the garden, it wasn't good enough. And then somebody turns up and falls asleep everywhere and, don't disturb him, don't disturb him. Oh, if you disturb him, get out, he'll wake up and work like a donkey for me. That's the way the temple president is. He wants donkeys to work for him and not ask any questions, and Indians to come on a Sunday and give him money. So why shouldn't I say, why should I keep it inside, Why shouldn't I say? It's obvious what's going on, it's blatantly obvious. And the corruption's blatant too, absolutely blatant. And they think they can get away with it, and sorry, no with this kid, It's that I'm not the new kid on the block. I've been around this part of the country for the last 63 years, the Karuna Bhavan, it's like, there was a spiritual master in charge and he became abusive and got booted out, and somebody took over and just did what they wanted and, turned it into a business, and, MD objected or MD disagreed or MD constructive criticism, he'll find a way of diplomatically removing them. That's called corruption. There you go, straightforward, What's anyone going to do in ISKCON management that's watching this? Bar me from every temple in ISKCON? Oh, I'll be really missing out, won't I? Oh, I'll be really missing out. I need to go to ISKCON temples for my food. I need to go to ISKCON temples for my spiritual guidance. Sorry, I don't. Sorry. A lot of other people don't either, because I can give them guidance and they can stay at home and practice. So don't treat me properly and you're not treating a lot of other people properly. And don't try and kid me on that you're great sadhus, that are following, you think it's 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles. You haven't got a clue about spiritual life. Spiritual life isn't principles and rules and regulations. Spiritual life's love for God. You don't even need to follow principles. You don't even need to follow rules and regulations. You shouldn't even be thinking about principles so much. The men seem to think that they're some kind of like movie stars and all the women are chasing them. It's so difficult to give up illicit sex. It's not. I just don't think about it. You know what I mean? And, I've burnt out my desire to drink alcohol anyway, I don't want to drink again. I don't gamble and eat meat. I mean, I don't want to take part in cruelty animals. So what's the problem, It's like, let's get on with it. Let's, Okay, yeah, I've been, criticised. That's why I'm, saying what I'm saying today, As my friend says, you've picked on the wrong guy, And, it's like, yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of work to help establish the farm at Karuna Bhavan, and then, it's like, I get stopped for no good reason, and then I'm told, they're going to establish a farm. Who's going to do it here in Scotland? It's like I tell you, if it's not me, I'm going to, anybody else that the management here try to get, I'm going to tell them, just be careful, I would tell them to be careful getting involved in Karuna Bhavan. Just, be very, very careful. It's like, yeah, be careful, don't, I wouldn't advise them to work on the farm at Karuna Bhavan with them if I'm not doing it. Sorry. Nah. But I'll say to you straightforward, management of ISKCON, if anyone else but me is doing the farm at Karuna Bhavan, I will advise them not to get involved until I'm treated fairly. There you go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Pragosh. Not that I'm getting against Pragosh or Prabhupada Prana or Kamlesh Krishna or Tatikshu. I mean, They all seem like great souls to me. That's the thing that gets me. Devotees seem like very nice, very beautiful, loving souls, yet when they get together, I think people try and show off to each other that, I'm the big shot here, I'll sort this out, None of us will sort it out. We all have to work together to sort it out. And we all have to listen to constructive criticism. And we all have to, take it on board and act on it. We won't do anything as individual people. I've noticed it's like every man for himself at ISKCON, and put the women down, it's like they're subservient to us, We should be serving women, not telling women they should be subservient to us. A woman will be subservient to a man if the man serves a woman. That's called love. Spiritual love. It's not like, if I'm seen as a big shot material, a woman will be submissive to me. She will if she wants something off you. But she won't serve you out of love if you're materialistic, trying to be the big shot. Anyway, I've ranted, I've given a positive side, and hopefully somebody's had a bit of a laugh, at least one person's had a bit of a laugh, but I just thought I'd make this to kind of, people are interested in Karuna Bhavan and what goes on there, and I've been a big part of it, I'm proud to say, and we can all sit down and be happy and work together. I don't see the problem. Other people seem to see the problem. I mean, if my lifestyle gets any better, I don't know, is Krishna going to come down himself and say something to me or something, Because everybody keeps telling me, oh, you're looking so well, you're looking so good. And, the doctor I went to see is like, your lifestyle's very good, there's nothing wrong. And it's like, it's like, people seem to trying to be looking for something wrong with me. I'm not expecting people to follow like me. I don't think most people could follow like me, to be honest. They don't want to. They're not so enthusiastic. It's not what I'm expecting. I'm just saying go along with things, It's like, I'm not expecting people to do what I'm doing. Do your best, Somebody that joins Hare Krishna, they're not going to be able to keep up with me, even a 20-year-old. They're not going to be able to do it. I'm eternally youthful, I'm a soul. I know I act that way. Not many people on the planet are on that level, I feel I'm one of the most fortunate people on the planet Earth because of the facilities ISKCON have given me, because of the way ISKCON devotees have served me. I feel very fortunate, and all I want to do is serve. So anybody that's watched this video all the way through, please, that's the message. I've nothing against anybody. All I want to do is serve. And okay, I've ranted, I've let some steam off, I've gave some constructive criticism, make what you can of it, give me feedback, and, it's like, the devotees in ISKCON can do so much for the world. There's so much corruption, and we don't need to be part of it because the material world's like that. We don't need to be like that. Devotees seem to think, well, the world's like that, let's just, we can't get above it. We just have to go along with it. It's acceptable. Corruption's acceptable in ISKCON. We just have to go along with it. Sure, everybody's not like Rupa Goswami, everybody's a bit materially motivated, but there's parameters, There's certain things that are acceptable. Having a bit of a laugh and being a bit pretentious and, buying a nice meal for yourself, occasionally or something like that. Who cares, if you spend a wee bit of money on yourself, but, don't just be blatantly corrupt and expect devotees to go along with it, and don't treat devotees as idiots, and that they should accept it. we're called transcendentalists. That means we're supposed to be above the material world, above corruption, above materialism, at least to some degree. And those who are above it to a high degree should be pulling the ones up that are not so high. I mean, there's a lot of, I feel there should be a lot more steady devotees in ISKCON. It's not so much neophyte, more madhyam, more steady, you know. We don't really need to bother about falling down. I mean, at my age, what am I going to do even if I wanted to enjoy the material world? I can't do much anyway, you know. So what have I got to worry about? I'm going to spend the rest of my days sitting chanting Hare Krishna and listening to bhajans and taking prasadam, you know. And I'll go out my way to help others. You know, anybody watching this video, if they want to contact me and, you know, I'll serve you in whatever way I can. I'm happy to do that. It's like, yeah. So, you know, let's like get together and feel alright. Okay, I think I've gone on long enough of it. Am I going to get sacked from ISKCON for this? You know, back to being old speaks out, you know. Sacked from ISKCON, it's that. I mean, if they sacked me from ISKCON, it'd be like, you know, it'd be a sad day, you know. Everybody knows in Scotland, back to Vinod, it's like, you know, he's a gardener, he's a book distributor, it's like he'll always be around his dying day, you know. And yeah, he'll be chanting Hare Krishna, whether he's in the pub or in the bookies or, you know, out in the street or wherever he is. That's what he's into. He wears tilak everywhere he goes. And people say Hare Krishna to him. So, there you go. I hope you liked the video. I do a lot of laughing. I write some emails that are a bit kind of, you know, having a go with the ISKCON management, but I always have a laugh about it later, so maybe have a laugh with the management about it later. And I want to go up and have a bit of a laugh with Prana and Hoxaja. It's that, well, we go back a long way together, and, you know, okay, friends can have a bit of a dig at each other, but at the same time, I mean, deep down, it's like, you know, there is love, there is respect, we do wish each other well, so let's, you know, go on the deeper side, you know, and, you know, do something for this world. In one sense, the world's beautiful. You see many, many beautiful people and scenery and amazing music, and, you know, the world's amazing. It's Krishna's creation. And on the other side, it's miserable because we abuse, you know, God's creation. So, yeah. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, some devotees, they don't, in their early days, they don't want to look at the beautiful scenery in case, oh, that's Maya looking at beautiful scenery. But no, what we do is, if we see something beautiful in this world, we see it as Krishna's opulence. And that way we always remember Krishna, and we cultivate love for him. And yeah. So, yeah, life's good. I had a VIP visitor last week, Kripa Moya. We all had a great time. He loved the prasadam, and yeah, it was like, he's welcome back anytime, and hopefully he'll bring his wife next time, and hopefully I'll see him and his wife when I'm down south. And yeah, I've had Readananda Swami around here, Mahatma, Kavi Chandra Swami stayed with me for a weekend in Edinburgh once as well, and Dayananda Swami comes round, so, and lots of other devotees come round, so it's a nice house, and, you know, lots of nice loving exchanges. And we have a temple up the hill that I'll be going up to soon, and hopefully we'll all get, you know, we'll all be singing and dancing together. It's Krishna's birthday Monday, so I may take a walk up and wish Krishna a happy birthday. Okay, I'll leave it on that note, on that very positive and happy note. Hare Krishna.